There you go. And we're live.
How are you guys doing? It's Brittany, your girl B. Nicole. I'm here, and this is the Caption Out Loud podcast. Hey,
Straight
have
up.
my
Yes.
co-host here with me, Justine.
Hey everyone.
I have Chris, the
The
Bay,
engineer.
and our featured guest, the Miss Patrice Graham.
Hey,
Hey,
happy to
hey,
be here.
hey, hey,
Yes,
hey,
so
hey.
glad you are here. Yes. Yes. Y'all have to excuse me. My eye's red. It's not pink eye. Don't judge.
And that ain't the dope.
No, we're not doing that.
We clean over here.
Right. So I'm so glad you took time out of your busy schedule to be here with us. So we're gonna get right into it. Labels, our first part. The reason why I asked you to be here, my admiration for you. I love you so much. We've known each other for what?
Forever.
25, 30 years.
Mm.
Yeah.
Somewhere
been
in
that
that
long.
ballpark.
You've never changed. You've always been the same. Your spirit, I love it. It draws people in. You have a very diverse group of friends, and I love that. We always have a good time. And a good friend of mine always said, great friends are like stars. You may not always see them, but you know they're always there.
Yes.
So we just pick right back up where we left off. And I'm going to try not to cry, y'all. I'm a crier.
Lord Jesus, your eyes already red.
I know. I
Lord.
look like I'm about to cry already. Lord, woo, help me, Father. But yes, so I just have a few questions. Again, I'm so proud of you with everything you're accomplishing and what you're doing. You know, I don't always talk to you about it, but I see you, boo. You doing it. Yes, doll. Yes. So I wanted to say, you have embarked on an amazing journey, and I admire that tremendously because I'm embarking on mine myself. So you decided to leave corporate America after a while. Why now?
It's just, I was supposed to do it back in September. I was like, oh, it's my birthday. It was going to be my birthday. It was my last day. And a whole lot of stuff happened. Like I was going through a breakup, and like I was like,
Life.
no, I can't. Like I was so scared. Like how am I gonna pay these bills? And then I was like, oh, I get a bonus in January, and then tax refund comes. Like maybe after
Bet.
that,
That
maybe
part.
after I get a little bit of extra money, I can do it.
Yeah.
And I set a date. I just set a date, and I was like, I'm going to do it. I had no idea like how I was gonna pay bills, where money was gonna come from, but I knew even when I started the yoga studio that like if I did this, I would be supported. Like God would have my back.
That's right.
And I know like this was my calling. It wasn't something I was like, oh, I want to do this. Ever since I was a kid, I want to own a yoga studio. Not at all.
Right.
So I'm just learning to trust my instincts and trust this little voice inside of me when it says leap. And this is a big leap.
That's right.
So
What's the name of your studio, by the way?
it's Colors of Yoga Raleigh.
All
There
right
you go.
now. Look.
Like
Yeah.
that.
Awesome. Well, that is great. And why yoga? How did you get into yoga? How did all that come about?
I got into yoga because of corporate America, actually.
Okay.
The first time I did yoga was because an ex of mine was really into yoga, and I thought it was boring. I was like, this is just stretching. I'm bored. Like,
Right.
nobody has time for this. It was just real slow. And then a friend of mine introduced me to hot yoga
Okay.
a few years later, and I loved it because I was sweating. I felt like I was working out. Like I felt like I was accomplished. It was faster paced.
Okay.
So I loved it. And then when I was working at a consulting firm, going to yoga was my boundary. Like it was like, okay, I have to leave work at a certain time so I can get to yoga. I didn't have kids or a dog or any, the
Right.
normal
Yeah.
excuses like, oh, I have to go take my dog out or
Right.
pick up my kids. But yoga was my excuse. Otherwise, I would stay at work until like 8 or 9 o'clock.
Right.
So yoga
Right.
was like, and it was an hour where I didn't have my phone, and I felt so much better after going to yoga. I had no idea why, but I just got really hooked on yoga. And so then I went to yoga teacher training, and I thought I was going to teach yoga like as a retirement plan, like on a beach on an island somewhere
Mhm.
far, far away. But then my mom and sister started coming to yoga, and I was like, well, representation matters. Like
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
if you can
That's
see
right.
yourself doing it,
Yeah.
maybe more people do it. So I was like, if
Exactly.
more Black people of color
Okay.
will come to yoga, then why not try to offer it and to create a space for that?
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I just want to know for myself, like, what steps did you take to be able to leave corporate America and embark on this journey, like financially, with faith? Like, what was that moment where you just said, you know what, I just need to get my together and go ahead and do this?
Yeah. It's a lot of things. This is such a good question. Financially, of course, like, I saved up money, but I had saved up more money actually for September than I had when I left in April. And I just found myself spending money because, like, you do. Like, if you have money, you're going to spend, at least if I have money, I'm going to spend it. So I wasn't, like, saving money like I thought I would. Like, I thought staying in my job longer, I would save more money. It wasn't working. And so I was like, you know what? I had to work on me to be able to leave corporate America. So I had to work on my mindset. I'm really big into manifestation and positive thinking. And I say a lot of things in universe terms instead of, because I teach so many different people. So I don't want to offend people by saying God, but God, universe provides. And I think what you focus on is what you attract. So I was very intentional about, this is what I want in my life. I listen to like, attracting money abundance music. It's like this hypnosis music where you can like attract money into your life.
I
know, that's right.
Give me the radio station.
Yeah. So a lot of like inner work and me getting over my fear and my self-doubt in order to know, like, I've been working so hard for other people my whole life and making them money. If I just take that energy and work for myself, amazing
what you
things
can do.
Exactly.
That's great.
Nice.
Ooh, you said so much.
Yeah.
Jewels.
And because it wasn't like a plan. I'm usually such a type A person. Like, okay, I need to have X amount of money. I need to have this.
Planning.
Right.
I didn't have a plan. But as soon as I decided, it was like all these different things came up. Like a corporate yoga contract came up. Even like tutoring. I was tutoring for Spanish. Like, just random things for me to make money came up after I was like, okay, this is the day I'm committed to doing it.
It's like different ways that the universe sent you different ways to provide for yourself without you.
Yeah.
You may have thought it was going to come in one way, but it came in another.
Exactly.
Right.
Always
Girl, you
do.
got me ready to quit my job.
I'm like, look, podcast. This the show.
I'm about to call my job right now.
Right. No, that's
what's
so
up.
good. Oh, wow. Okay. You have any other questions? Are you good for now?
They come to me as
That's fine.
Right.
That's all good. Okay. So, when you said, the universe provides and everything, I feel like that's a great point, because once you believe it, it's already happening. And then it just manifests and everything just comes. So that you speak it into the universe and it appears.
You know,
Yeah,
I saw a quote somewhere before. It said that there's always abundance, but we create the limitations.
Right.
Exactly.
And you
Yes.
will. Yeah.
Yes.
If you, that's right. Yep. That's real good.
Never want to hold yourself back.
Nope.
No, you
If
don't.
you have a plan, if you have a goal, just
Just
go
go
after
after
it.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's true. So, in that, so what does a person like you do in your free time other than listen to money music? And, I want to know
I'm gonna
that.
need that playlist.
Right. I know your stuff.
Follow me on Spotify. It's on there. In my free time, I like to hike. I love to travel.
Nice.
I play tennis. I read a lot. I love to read self-help books.
Okay.
It's really important for me. I am naturally a negative person. So I have to change my mindset and just get inspiration on a daily basis, whether it's listening to a podcast like this dope podcast or
That's right.
Yes.
reading a self-help book or just there's so many negative things in the world that it's important to me to keep something positive. So whether it's being out in nature, reading, traveling, a lot of my time is spent on, and it's can all be self-care, right? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a question on that. So how much time do you limit yourself to one of these?
So my phone, that's a tough one because I spend a lot of time on social media,
Right.
and it's for air quotes for the business, but then you get sucked into the social media thing. So
Right.
social media takes my time, but because I don't watch a lot of TV, it kind of evens out. Like,
Right.
if I watch TV and was on social media, I would.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But social media can take me down a path, but it's all about mindfulness and being aware of like, okay, I have stuff to do. Like
That's the reason why I asked, because there's a lot of negativity
Yes.
that's on social media right now, and
yeah,
our black people is drawn to the negative
Yep.
more than the positive.
Yep.
World star.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Hyping up craziness.
and
Right.
I also like, again, isolate myself. Like I have 3 different accounts, and I follow on my personal account. I only follow people that I actually know.
Right.
Makes sense.
And I'll quickly unfollow people
see
that
some mess, yeah.
that are just not aligned.
Absolutely.
So,
That's
yeah.
important. And we full-fledged adults now, child. So with transitioning into adulthood, I noticed personally for me, it's been a lot going into 33 this year. Have you
Yes.
like what has been the most challenging thing for you? I know you say you're type A, you're a planner, the negativity. I know you spoke a little bit on that, but can you elaborate a little more? Like, what's been the most challenging?
Probably just being me and letting go of the people pleasing and trying to do for
Yes.
other people, and just being unapologetically
Yes.
You.
authentically me, and finding out who that is, because in relationships and different jobs and situations,
You lose
I can
yourself.
morph into
Right.
different
Right.
people,
We do what
and
we
to
all do.
just be like, you know what, no, this is what I want to do, and being selfish. And I think that's the biggest thing for me in coming into adulthood, is learning that, and it's a constant learning.
It is always. No,
Right.
I can definitely relate to that.
With like learning who you are, have you ever had to deal with people who are used to old you and trying to like hold you back? Like, how do you handle those type of situations?
Yeah, for sure. And it's like probably one of the hardest things of starting a business is like not having friends and family support you. And but I have a therapist. I love therapy. Like
that's awesome.
I think people should go to therapy.
Absolutely.
And so it's nice to have someone to talk through that with, because it's what she reminds me of is like, some people can't get the old you out of their head
Right.
to support and to understand where you are now. And so that's probably that's the tough part, but also it's like, it makes me drive harder, because it's like, okay, I don't need your support.
Right.
Right.
I can still love you. Not even any hard feelings,
Right.
but I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah,
and I
that's
know
right.
I can't have anyone holding me back, and it probably just drives me more to be like, okay, y'all think I can do it? I'm gonna show you.
Right?
Exactly.
I'm about to stun on you real
Yes.
quick.
Right.
Not keep that same energy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Seriously.
Exactly. Staying over there. Well, and you brought up a good point, because a friend of mine told me that, it's like where you get the most hate from is the people that are closest to you, and that's because they can't understand or conceptualize how you got to where you are, and y'all both started at a
Same.
certain level. So I think you brought up a great point, and that's that's awesome.
And I think it triggers something in
In
them,
them
too,
that
that like they know that they're not following their dreams, like they're allowing fear to hold them back.
Right.
And
Right.
so hopefully that trigger actually manifests into them pursuing their dreams too. But sometimes it just manifests as hate.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's unfortunate. Oh my
I
goodness.
mean, where would we be without our haters, though?
Hey.
Hey.
Let them motivate you.
Close. All right, so let's play a game.
Okay.
So, with all the hashtags and everything now, what is the most creative one you've seen, or what is your favorite, or both, or you can have 2 answers or several. It's up to you. I'm curious.
Creative hashtags. So the first one that comes to mind is the one for Black Girls Run.
Okay.
Theirs is Preserve the Sexy, and I'm all about that.
I know that's right.
Yes.
Yes.
That part.
Yeah, I don't know any other.
What's ones that you use the most?
Oh, all of mine are yoga related. Like Black Girls Do Yoga, Trap Yoga, Yoga's for Everybody, community
That's
yoga.
good.
Like all
That's
of mine
what's
are
up.
very yoga related.
Speaking of trap yoga, what exactly is trap yoga for the ones that don't know?
Trap yoga is yoga. It's still yoga. Some people think it's like yoga and dancing.
Right.
It's yoga, but to rap music. and
Okay.
specifically like Southern rap. So you'll hear Cardi, you'll hear
Hey.
Big Sean, like everybody, like
Whoever,
Okay.
right.
stuff you'll hear on the radio. Basically, it's a way for Black people to understand this is for us. Hip hop yoga is for white people. Trap yoga is for us, right? Like,
It's a difference.
if you see trap yoga, 99% of the time it's going to be a person of color leading the class.
Okay.
And it's fun, and it's a different kind of yoga. Can get very serious and very heady, and trap yoga is fun. Like in down dog, that's the perfect place to twerk. Like
Hey.
just
Okay.
moves
Like that part.
and it's more of a workout. Some yoga can be very gentle. Trap yoga, it's like running to rap music. You're not gonna run slow. You
Right.
have to get your heartbeat up.
Right.
Okay.
Good time.
I
That
like
sounds
that.
good. Yes, we gotta go, Justine.
Yes.
Let's go.
Like
Yes.
ASAP.
Definitely.
What's your schedule next week?
Okay, so all right. Do you honestly believe that every single thing that you have been through, amazing, bad, and ugly, was necessary for you to get to the point that you're at right now?
When I'm going through it, absolutely not.
Of course. Of course.
But I look back and I'm like, wow, this is why. And even if it's just to help encourage someone else that might be going through that same thing, but it also helps me. Every hard thing I've gone through has helped me to know my power, to learn my power. Like
Right.
Good.
I travel by myself, and it makes me fearless. Like it's like,
That's awesome.
what can I do? Start a studio. What can, like, it just builds up your confidence and shows you like you really can't do anything. When you're a kid, you're taught, your parents tell you like you can do anything, you can be anything, and somehow we lose that.
Yeah.
As we
Yeah.
grow older, we're like,
The more we
Be
find
realistic.
out and know.
yeah. No, you need to be
Cautious,
responsible.
right.
And it's like we limit ourselves. And I think the more that you grow and go through things, the more that you trust yourself
Right.
and
Right.
trust your wings. So,
That's good. That's real good.
What do you do to keep yourself motivated on those days where you don't really feel like it? Like when you wake up and you're just kind of like, I gotta go to the studio today.
yeah. So one of
We all have them.
I have a very good support system, probably the best support system I had ever. So my mom is one person that she'll be like, Patrice, come on, just pray about it. Let's move on. Like get up and do it. And then I have friends that'll be there and be like, oh, it's okay if you don't do anything. Like I have all kinds of friends that I can reach out to, which I don't think, especially as Black women, we're like, no, I can do it. I don't need anybody's help. I don't want to bother anybody. But knowing that I have support helps on those rough days. And then the other thing that motivates me is my bank account. I'm like, well, who else can pay these bills?
Okay.
That's right.
know
I have to
that's
hustle. I need to figure out something. And that's what I thought my dad would freak out about me quitting my job. Because I was making good money at my job and I work from home. Like it was like a good, like no one understands it. And I thought my dad would freak out. And he was like, well, you know, if you don't have anything else to fall back on, you've always been a Jamaican. You'll figure it out. You'll hustle. You'll figure it out. And like, when I had my job, I had a cushion. I didn't really have to hustle. I didn't have to like go out and try to recruit because I had my other job could pay the bills for the studio. And now I have to.
It's that
Yeah.
get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
No,
But
that's good.
yeah, that's a strong motivator though.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. That's good. Girl, find out, Patrice. Go ahead. So, let's see. Now, you said something about the motivation and your support system. So, of that support system, it could be several people. Who do you admire the most and why?
You know, I think
Or collectively, you know?
it's more of a personality thing.
Yes.
Like, I admire people that first are authentic
Absolutely.
and unapologetic and like share the good and the bad, you know, especially if people that are willing to say, hey, this is what I'm going through, and being like raw and open. I really, really admire that. And then the people that are doing it or just following their dreams and
Absolutely.
not letting what anyone thinks or society hold them back, and just going after it. So there's a lot of people that I admire. There's not just one person,
Right.
but that's just like part of my personality is I'm so eclectic and I have all these different influences.
I know.
Yep.
That's what I love about her. Yes. That's awesome. And I feel you on that because I know with me, I've tried several business ventures that have not been successful, but I've learned a lot from them and I'm still going.
Yes.
I'm not going to quit.
Yes.
Like, you know, so that's
Yes.
where I feel you on that too. You have any questions?
No, I'm just taking in all the knowledge.
Taking out,
Yes.
yes, and we can watch it back.
Yes.
You know, we it's recorded. We good. So
Setting up my game plan in my head mentally right now.
Right.
Look.
You got to. You got
Well, you
to.
got some pen and paper. You know you can write it
Oh,
down,
yeah,
right?
you're right.
So, what is some advice that you would give anyone that is maybe going through what you're going through, about to go through it, and in it now? What would you say?
I would say do it. I think if you have something in your spirit and your heart that's telling you to do something, try it. A lot of people tell you don't quit your job until after you've started. And I am glad that I didn't, because I was freaking out even with my job about money. But don't stay there so long. Like, a lot of people can get comfortable and keep doing both. I don't know how I did both. I had a full-time job and did yoga as a career for 2 years. And it was a lot. Like, it's literally a weight off my shoulders to do it now. And the other thing is, like, don't give up, and surround yourself with people that will support you, and like-minded people, entrepreneurs, people
very
that
important.
understand, because there's plenty of people that don't understand and have this whole other mindset, and they will try to keep you from your dreams and tell you you're crazy.
Yes.
Everybody somebody has told them that they were crazy.
That's right.
Right.
So
Be the
Crazy to the
closest
bank.
ones to 'em.
yeah,
Yep.
Hello.
exactly. And it's just like, stay focused and keeping why you're doing what you're doing in the back of your head to keep you, because there's hard days. There's days when it's like, how am I gonna make payroll? How am I gonna do this? But if you can keep staying focused on your why and have people around to support you, to remind you of your power, to remind you of your why, I think you can get through it. Because it was rough. I'm not even gonna sugar it. Starting this business, it wasn't like I had a whole plan and a whole bunch of money to invest in it. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And just when I thought that things were going to crumble, there'd be some kind of sign. Even today, I was like, I just got back from a trip, and I was like, God, am I really supposed to be doing this yoga thing? Because that traveling was real fun. Like, I could close the studio right now if you want to. You just leave me, God, leave. And then we got this sweet message from some random person on Twitter was like, I just found a Black-owned yoga studio in Raleigh. They have trap yoga. I'm there. And someone else that came to class was like, I'm so stressed and I'm so glad I found this place. And so it's those little signs that you have to be open and aware to, because I could have easily been like, that wasn't it, God, that wasn't it. But those signs come, and any little sign, like I'm real crazy, like birds singing, like anything will.
No, that's true.
Will help me to keep me reminded of I'm supported and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, and you touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to go back to it. So, other than yoga and you pursuing your dream and passion, what are you most proud of yourself about, and why?
I'm most proud of myself for just trying new things. Like I said, I travel by myself out of the country. It freaks my parents out, but I love it. I'm not worried no more.
Hey, they got pistol permits over there.
Right. But it helped, like,
no, that's good though.
As like Brittany said at the beginning, I have a lot of different friends, and it's really helped me to expand my knowledge and who I am, and trying so many different things, and I love it, because some things I love and some things I hate, but I won't know until I try. And I could have easily been just gone to school and gone to work and been that person. And I'm really grateful for all of the experiences to try new things like hiking and rock climbing and all these, like,
rock climbing is fun. I mean, feel so, like, not out of place in there, but it's definitely not many of us up in there.
Right.
My girl be on a rock with a yoga pose, like what? With a nice,
like, how do I rock climb with these?
Right. Be like, go ahead, Patrice. Yes,
That's
honey.
what's up, though.
That's awesome. And I think that's great, because, we only have one life, and you grind now while you can.
Yes.
And while
Yes.
you should, and no regrets, and
Yep.
that I love that about you. You've always been that way, so I really appreciate that.
How did you get to the point where you got over like not always trying to wait? Because I be wanting to travel too, and I'd be like, girl, let's go here, let's go there, and it never works out.
Yeah.
How did you get to the point where just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go by myself out of
Yeah.
country? Like how? Because I'm always like,
So flight deals. So I'll tell you a quick story.
Go ahead.
It's like the best flight deal story ever in life.
Okay.
I was supposed to go to China with a friend. Or actually, no. I wasn't supposed to go to China. I found this flight deal. It was like DC to Beijing, and it was $453. And it was business class. So I was like, they're missing like a whole zero on this. Like, this should have been $4,000.
Right.
And so I quickly got it. I was like, I'll figure it out later. And I told my friend about it, and she was like, oh, maybe I'll get it. Hour later, it was gone. Because it was clearly like somebody messed up. Somebody got fired. And so I was like, $453 to go all the way to China. This is a once in a lifetime thing. China wasn't even on the list. But for $453, I can't pass this up. So I ended up going by myself because my friend couldn't get the ticket. And after that, especially after that, it was like, well, no, seize the opportunity, because I would have never, like, paying $1,000 to go to China. Right. I don't know if I would have done that until much later in life, if ever. So, you know, you just have to seize the opportunity, and so I for a while I was following flight deals, and it's like they might be up for 2 hours, they might be up for 12, but you just have to make a split decision.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That is awesome.
I swear, I'd be scared to travel by myself. I find all kind of excuses. Oh man, like I don't know, I ain't changed the tires in probably like 3 months. I'm gonna just wait on this, and I need to change them tires first.
Right.
Knowing I'm gonna just go right over there to the used
I
tire
drove
spot.
to DC on ball tires. I was like,
I'll be out. Now, the flying I'm a little nervous about. I've only flown once. I went to Miami, and it was fine. It wasn't weird or anything. I was like, okay, this is cool. I love the time. You know, you're
Right,
there.
right.
Like, I was in Miami an hour and a half versus
Right.
13
Right.
or whatever. But, you know, he knows here. Let's go to the beach. We went to the beach for a day the other day. I'll be ready. We're going to DC, in the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, well, I mean, I want to do this segment where we have a heart check, and with everything that's going on now, I'm sorry, my nose is running. That's why I keep doing that.
You got a sleeve or something?
You still actually do. Matter of fact,
Wipe your nose. We got time. Shoot.
edit
Yes.
this out. So with everything going on with Me Too, with you know, black men being gunned down by police and others by dogs, with just a lot that's going on right now. Trump. I mean, everything. What are you trying to make a conscious effort to do in how you're living your life and who you're associating with? And, you know, because I'm just curious. You know, you be yourself, but
Yeah.
I'm just curious to know.
So part of the reason that I have the yoga studio and I do yoga is because of that, because that's my self-care. It's just taking time to breathe and to check in. I think
good.
so often we're just going, and we're not even aware of how all of this stuff is affecting us. Like we take in so much, and then we aren't aware of like the tension we're holding physically in our body or mentally, how it's affecting us. And for me, it's changed. Like before, I was trying, like part of the reason I did yoga and did tennis is like I want to break the stereotypes, and that was my advocacy. And now it's more like, no, I'm going to tell people my truth, because I have like a handful of friends that are Trump supporters. And I'm like, how did this happen? Like, and I blame myself because I never really told them my experience. Like I'm like, they're pull yourself up by the bootstraps experience. Like, oh, she went to UNC undergrad, she went to grad school, like she has a house, da, 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 da. Like, but you don't know that I'm still a black person. And I got pulled over in front of my parents' house, and like telling people my experience and how it's different from them. And I swear God led me to like preach one-on-one to white men, because I dated several white men, and that in itself has been a whole experience of like sharing. This is my experience, and it's very, very different from theirs, and learning and to relate and how to say things, because if you say things a certain way, like how the black girl way, they shut down. So I have to like finesse it and get my message across in like metaphors and stuff, and
gotta use all your degrees and make
right,
sure.
right. Like I have to relate it to like
Make it
something
relatable,
that they can understand. Like literally, my ex was really into bicycling, so then had to talk about, so bicycles aren't supposed to be on the street because it's against the law, but people on the road keep honking at them. They don't want them on the street. They're slowing you down.
They're getting in my way.
And so I'm like, this is like the black experience. Like I'm supposed to be here. This is where I live. This is where I was born.
Right.
But other people don't want me here, and they are trying to push me out and are making it hard for me to exist.
Right.
And so stuff like that, and it's definitely challenging, but it's also, it can be healing to be able to share your story too.
Yeah.
I know this is a little bit off topic, but you don't drive a Prius, do you?
No.
Okay. 'Cause I take a bicycle over a Prius any day of the week. I swear. At least the bikers be way over here. The Prius want to be in the left lane going half the speed limit. Man, it pisses me off every time. I'm sorry. All you Prius drivers out there, I'm talking to y'all.
No. So, like you said, I feel like something's starting to shift though, because a lot of us, I know with gentrification and all of that, we're starting to have to coexist, whether it's by choice or by force. But you're seeing a lot of shows now where it's showing us, because we're really all not different, not that different. I mean, and I think a lot of it, you know, like with the cops, I feel like it's fear, and that's why they react the way they, you know, not all cops, but just some. But I know that the more I talk to people and have conversations with other races, we're all the same. And you know, and that's what I love about our church. Plug, Raleigh. But no, because it really does. I feel like looks a lot like heaven. It's all of us, and you know, it's great. And I think the more you've always been, like I said, having a real diverse group of friends and stuff like myself. You know, so that's really important, and not everyone has that gift. So you're using that in a great way, and I'm so glad that you're, you know, able to finesse and talk to different types of people.
I agree. I think we're more alike than we are different, and some people can get so siloed into labels of like who you are, and like I'm this and I'm that, and it makes you not listen or not open to other people's perspective. I am very open to hearing other people's perspectives, because for better or worse, I know that I don't know everything, so I am always open to hearing something. You might not change my mind, but just being open to hearing, like, people have their perspective for a reason. They've come to it for some reason, even if I don't agree with it. I think we're all just trying to do the best we can with the knowledge that we have.
That's right.
Exactly.
Definitely. It's just that's why one thing I will not talk with a lot of people is politics, because the minute you bring up politics in a room, it's just like divide. And I don't like that feeling. Like, we are all basically the same, like, and we can all accomplish the same things, but as soon as you start dividing the room, it's uncomfortable.
I think it's designed that way. I mean, I'm
keep it separated,
because otherwise, if we united,
it's over.
They started it early too. They started Democrat, Republican. They started it early, and then they just adding on all these little extra groups. I don't understand.
Exactly. Like, who y'all voting for? I don't know.
Got left wing, right wing, conservative. All that. I don't get none of that.
There's too many labels. Like, just be you.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Chris.
That's my only label. It's my name.
Right.
What else we got on the books?
So yes, and you'll have to correct me on this. There was an interesting story you had posted. I saw it, and I was wanting to wind it back, but I was doing something with kids or whatever. So, you said you miss the old Black stories, or just wisdom, and that they would share. Like, what can you elaborate on that? Because I feel like I know what you mean.
So I think we used to sit around, like, especially Christmas, Thanksgiving, with our family, and they would share stories about their experience, and it would be in this way, like, y'all kids don't know. Right. And at the time, it was annoying because you're like, oh God, this is an old story. Right. But now as an adult, I appreciate that history because we don't have a lot of written history collectively as Black people, and so that shared knowledge only came from passing down. And I think now, first of all, we're spending less time in community and gathering. And when we are in community, it's less time just sitting around talking because we're so distracted by other things. So I was at an event at a church, and it's always, old Black women at church. They'll sit around and talk now. Right. And so I was at an event at a church, like they were having a health fair. And so we were just having lunch, and people were talking about growing up and I don't know what the word is, but like harvesting tobacco and having to work out on the farm and, all of this stuff that is part of our history. Like so many people, my mom grew up on a farm too, curing tobacco in the summer and had a garden, and just getting back to that. And it helps us with community to share that, but also just to know your history, to know where you come from, because there's a whole part of our heritage that's missing because we were abducted and brought to this country. So we don't know where we came from, but we can at least know our history, our recent history from the ancestors that are alive or that can pass on stories from their ancestors. So that's what I was talking about. It's just like,
that's good.
Sharing that wisdom of old Black people, and they're like, even stuff that you think is ridiculous, they be knowing.
Yeah, seriously.
Right. No,
if you got grandparents, go and sit with them.
Yeah.
They will fill you in on a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff you don't want to know, but a lot of history that's in your family.
Stuff you need to know,
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
That's true.
My grandma a gangster, so she got some stories for you.
It is.
Thought she was all sweet and innocent.
Oh, Lord,
right.
no.
Right.
I got one of them pistol packing grandmas.
Same here.
Right.
Grandma thug.
Someone granddaddy pull his gun out on somebody. I'm
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
It's time to go.
Oh, yeah.
Story time's over.
Like, well, and that.
Anybody that you got in your family that's 65 and older got history for you. And it's good to know it, because, whenever you're in your hometown, like, you never know it. That was your family that built that house or that started that business there, and you have ties to that. Yeah. So always know.
That is true. And I think, they grew up a lot different back then. People got married and they stayed married. They stayed at one job for 30 years. They retired. Now it's like a lot of my friends are graduates. They don't stay longer at jobs in 3 years. And then they out. And my mom didn't understand that either. She was just like, well, Brittany, you just hop in jobs and I'm not happy. So I'm not going to stay.
Right. As long as I don't stay at a job.
Right. So, and then a part of that, I was at a conference and Devon Franklin and Megan Goodman were there. And he was saying we're the most disconnected generation that the earth has ever seen because of this.
Internet,
you see people media, and they just, even when I go to my house, we go on Sundays, everybody just like this, and it's like, why can't we get back to the story time and the, because I miss that. Yes. With my grandparents, my mama and papa, and it was so refreshing going to Kentucky unfortunately it was for my aunt passing, but just getting back in with my mama and just sitting and talking and just having that bonding time. It's really important, and I know as a parent I want to do that with my children because it is important for them to know where they came from, know how things used to be, and kind of just build memories that way, because it's you got 30-year-old grandparents nowadays, but anyway it's okay, whatever, it's life. Did you have anything else you want to share? We're gonna do the plug so you can put your business and everything on blast. Anything you got coming up, how they can follow you, how they can reach you, all of that.
Yeah, so the studio is in downtown Raleigh. It's called Colors of Yoga Raleigh, and our mission is to make yoga more inclusive, build community, and do some yoga. So just like what we were talking about, we feel like people are very disconnected, and so if you're new to town, don't know anyone, this is a great place to meet people or just to spend time together, because there's so many times where you're texting or DMing but you haven't seen that person in months or a year or longer. So we take time after class to like have tea and chat and talk about all kinds of things. And so we're in downtown Raleigh. We have classes every day of the week, and yeah, so come out. We're at our Colors of Yoga Raleigh on Instagram and Facebook. We have our website, www.colorsofyogaraleigh.com, and we do birthday parties. We do all kinds of private events.
Yes.
So, or if you need someone at like your health fair or wellness event, we got you. So
That's what's up.
And you sell clothing? Yes. My girl, this is my friend right here. Yeah, she doing it.
Yeah, we have shirts and leggings. We have like essential oils, smudge sticks to get all of like.
Child. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hope
Awesome.
the kids don't get into it.
Gorgeous. Okay, and then what's your IG for everyone?
I have two.
Okay.
It's Yoga with Patrice is my yoga one, and then Pat_Rice GRAM is my personal one. So I have 3 Instagram accounts. It's a whole lot, but you have to keep something separate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us on the Caption Out Loud with Patrice, Justine, and the Bay.
Thanks for having me.
you.
This was so
Thank you.
fun.
Yes, it was fun. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. All right.
Yeah.
You gonna cue us out or whatever the sound thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit this button that says record is lit up.
Well, then there
and
you
then
go.
We're gonna end this conversation.
Sounds good.
All right, you guys hit the
Thank you.
subscribe button, and we'll see you next
Yes.
time.
See
Thank
ya.
you.
Bye.